Zihon was fast asleep at 3 in the morning when a strange noise woke him up out of nowhere. At first he thought it might have been the wind, or maybe just a creak in the house, but the sound kept going. Curious and a little on edge, he got out of bed and made his way downstairs toward the kitchen to check it out.
Hey. 靠北啊！操，我他妈岔气的！看那没有声音，那没有声音。不可能是风吧？靠北啊！阿没拍谁哦？哥弟，你有看到吗？你有看到有人腿那边的歌姬有打有？有人吗？不好意思啊，阿北，如果你不欢迎我的话，你可以出声吗？打扰了。我操！靠北，我才刚开播啊，大哥！阿北，对不起哦，我不口渴啊，你别请我吃凉的好不好？老来嘞，歹势。有电吗？
As soon as he walked in, the fridge door started opening and closing on its own, over and over again. Zihun stood there frozen, watching in disbelief as the appliance seemed to have a mind of its own. His hands were shaking while filming, and you could hear the panic in his screams as he backed away. Since that night, he has barely been able to sleep properly and refuses to go downstairs alone when it is dark. He even unplugged the fridge a few times just to make sure it was not some electrical fault, but the activity has not stopped. Now he is considering getting professional help because whatever is in that house is not just trying to scare him, it wants to be noticed. William had always believed his dog had a strong sense for things that humans couldn't pick up on. So when the dog stayed completely still in the same position for nearly 20 minutes, he knew something was off. It wasn't asleep, it wasn't distracted, it just stared blankly ahead, unresponsive to any sound or movement. William walked over, crouched beside it, and tried everything from petting to calling its name, but the dog wouldn't budge. This is when he decided that recording was the best option. Take a look.
What's up, hearing ghosts? You alright, Benja? Oi! You alright? You alright? Keep looking up at the wall earlier, won't you? For them eyes, you know when something's not right. Fucking hearing noises. Fucking meanie. Banging. Fuck's sake. Bosses don't fly off then.
Suddenly, a CD flew off the shelf and landed with a hard thud on the floor, breaking the silence. William stood frozen, staring at the shelf, trying to work out what could have caused it. The CD hadn't been leaning, there were no open windows, and he hadn't touched a thing. Now every time the dog passes that area, it slows down, ears perked and body tense. William hasn't seen anything since, but the air in that room still feels heavier than the rest of the house. Marcus is a seasoned ghost hunter, but even with all his experience, every case feels like a fresh mystery. He had just taken on a new job for $200, a small house where the owners had reported strange noises and cold spots late at night. It wasn't the biggest case he'd worked on, but he took it seriously like all the others. He arrived in the evening, set up his equipment, and started recording straight away, hoping to catch even the slightest trace of paranormal activity. This is what he caught.
Voy así nomás, pero estoy sintiendo ruidos. No sé qué, a dónde. Yo creo que fue acá. ¿Vieron la cortina? No hay viento, gente. Miren, aparte una sola.
In the footage, the red curtain across the room moved twice on its own. No wind, no windows open, and Marcus wasn't anywhere near it. The second time it shifted, it was more aggressive, like something wanted to make sure it was seen. That was the moment Marcus knew the place wasn't just haunted, it was active. He stayed for another hour, asking questions, recording audio, and searching for cold spots. He didn't get much more on camera, but the curtain's movement was all he needed to confirm what the homeowners were feeling. He sent them the footage, warned them to stay cautious, and advised them to bless the home before anything worse decided to show itself. In 1980, Kevin had long felt that something was wrong with his house. It was not just the usual creaks or flickering lights, but the constant feeling that someone or something was watching him. After many sleepless nights and strange noises throughout the house, he decided to take action. He grabbed his camcorder and started recording every corner, hoping to find proof that he was not imagining things.
You fucking... Right in the corner of this thing, there was this weird shape, man. He said, I'm in here. What's down here, Joseph? Where are you? In where? Fucking pussy. Do something. You fucked up now, man. We're gonna bless this shit. Gonna fucking expel you from here. You don't belong here anymore. Hear me? It's fucking my house now. You making that shit beeping noise, huh? Talking? Now you're fucked. We're gonna bless the shit out of this place and you're fucking screwed.
The footage shows a ghostly figure suddenly appearing from the bottom of the laundry door as if it had been hiding there. Moments later, another figure rushes past the front door, moving so fast it blurs but remains visible. Kevin watched the tape over and over that night, trying to understand what he had captured. With clear evidence in hand, he now faces a difficult choice. Moving out feels premature, but staying does not feel safe anymore. For now, Kevin is still deciding what to do next. Let us hope he makes the right decision. Feel free to wish him good luck in the comments. The man had known for a long time that his house wasn't right. Cold spots, footsteps when no one was there, the unsettling feeling of always being watched. He'd experienced it all. But whenever he mentioned it, people laughed it off or told him he was just imagining things. So he took matters into his own hands and decided to set up a camera facing down the hallway before going to sleep, determined to get the proof he needed. He wasn't sure if anything would happen, but deep down, he hoped the camera would catch something undeniable.
And hell, I don't know. I guess that's good, right, guys? What do you think? Nah, we'll turn. I guess we'll turn. We'll just leave the hallway light on. All right. Hopefully we'll see something in the morning.
The light in the room at the very end of the hallway begins to flicker erratically, as if something is tampering with the power. Just seconds later, the door to the nearest room creaks open slowly, seemingly on its own. The silence of the house makes the moment even more intense. When the man woke up the next morning and reviewed the footage, his hands started shaking. He paused, rewound, and played it again multiple times just to be sure. The camera hadn't malfunctioned. Something really happened. He's now considering sleeping elsewhere for a while until he can figure out what to do next. Luke had always suspected there was something off about his house, but never paid it much attention. His main focus was on keeping an eye on his cat, Bear, who was known for knocking things over and causing trouble at night. To make things easier, Luke installed a few CCTV cameras around the house, not for anything paranormal, but simply to keep watch on Bear's nightly adventures. One night at exactly 11:30, he got a notification from one of the cameras and decided to check what was going on. The footage shows Bear cautiously approaching a teddy bear that had been sitting perfectly still for hours. As the cat nears it, the teddy's arm slowly shifts before the entire toy falls over by itself. Bear immediately stops in his tracks and stares at the fallen teddy, clearly disturbed. Luke watched the clip several times trying to make sense of it, but could not find any logical explanation. There were no drafts, no strings, and nothing that could have caused the movement. It was enough to make him rethink everything he believed about the house. Now, he is considering calling in someone who deals with this kind of thing just to be sure. Layla was curled up in bed, watching her favorite show, enjoying a quiet night in like she always did. Everything felt normal until she noticed the closet door slowly creaking open on its own. Thinking it was just a loose hinge or maybe a draft, she got up, shut it completely, and made sure it clicked closed. But something didn't sit right with her, so before climbing back under the covers, she grabbed her phone and hit record, just in case it happened again.
The door opened up a few minutes ago, so while I was laying down, so we're gonna see if it's gonna open again. I closed it and got back in the bed, and hopefully it is shut for tonight. I just ended up getting out my bed a minute ago and shutting it, so let's see. Looky. I'm in my bed, and there she goes. So I'm gonna have to end up putting a towel in it, or she's gonna keep opening it up all night. But I'm in my bed, as you can see. It's opened up again by itself.
The footage shows Layla explaining the situation for a moment before the closet door begins to swing open once more, this time revealing absolutely nothing inside. No movement, no explanation, just empty space behind the door. Layla stays frozen for a few seconds, staring at the door and waiting for something else to happen, but the room remains silent. Watching it back later, she felt a chill, knowing she had double-checked that door, and it had opened anyway. Now she's keeping the phone near her every night and making sure that closet stays taped shut. She's not sure what she caught on camera, but she's not sleeping as peacefully anymore. Ian, better known as the Midwest Ghost Hunter, was back at it again, this time taking on an abandoned asylum with a heavy reputation. He decided to go solo for this one, something he rarely does, but the location was too infamous to ignore. As he walked down one of the long, echoing corridors, the silence was suffocating, with each step bouncing off the crumbling walls like a warning. Ian kept his camera rolling, narrating every moment as he went.
I mean, it is windy outside, so I cannot rule that out. But these were loud, so I don't know. Is there someone up here? Making noises? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm starting to think it could be a false alarm. Maybe not. That definitely sounded like it was in here. In here. And you know what? If you look out there. The wind has stopped. So that totally rules that out. Which is scary because those sounds were so loud. When are the pissed myself. Luckily, I wasn't recording. That would have been embarrassing. Oh, God. Who's down there? You know, I can't help but think about that spirit box session that was on this floor. That right there. Or not that one. Right there. That's John Oliver's room. I'm just thinking about what he said. Because I have a bad feeling right now. Whoever's down there, come on out. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. Dude, something just ran across that hall. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh, come on, you just calm down. Oh, Jesus. I'm whimpering and screaming like a little freaking baby right now.
Out of nowhere, there was a loud bang, startling him. To make sure it wasn't just wind or a loose window, he carefully panned over to the glass, showing that it was completely sealed and the trees outside were still. Just as he turned back, another bang echoed from deeper in the hallway, and before he could even react, a ghostly figure glided across the hallway in front of him. It wasn't a trick of the light or camera blur. This was something solid enough to cast a faint shadow. Ian's breathing picked up, and he stopped talking completely, clearly rattled by what he just witnessed. He stuck around for a little longer, but you could tell he was ready to bolt. Whatever's in that asylum clearly knows it's being watched. The following video was recorded by Anthony and his best friend Tyler, and they were both really into wildlife. One day they decided that they were going to open up a YouTube channel that explored wildlife and began a series on squirrels, where they would find them in the wild and comment on why they do certain things. They were both very passionate about the topic until one day, whilst recording an episode, something very odd happened.
Hello guys, we're making another video for randomness. We've taken about 8, but none turned out good.
They've all been about squirrels.
And this one's about squirrels too. We're trying to find squirrels.
Did you hear that?
What was that? Alex, what was that?
I don't know.
No, really.
I seriously don't know. Oh shit. Dude, the chair fell over.
What are you doing?
I didn't do anything. There's nothing.
Hey.
Hank saw it.
Wait, but who did it?
I don't know what did or who. Check the basement.
Wait, wasn't this up?
Oh, crap.
Dude,
there's some weird things going on in my house, dude.
Wait, but, hey. Who did it?
I don't know. Oh, shit.
What? Dude.
That was creepy as...
Oh my god.
Dude. Oh, dude.
Oh, shit.
Out of the blue, a bang was heard from downstairs, and Anthony and Tyler instantly went down to investigate. They had no clue what the noise could have been, but checked nonetheless in case of potential threats such as burglary. They were strong boys, so were confident in the case of a person in being in the house, but this was not what caused the sound. Some items were misplaced across the household, and eventually, the duo ended up in the basement. This is when they saw an item move, without any visible force interacting with it, and it was confirmed to them that what they were experiencing came under paranormal activity. Gaming is a leisure activity that people tend to tap into when they want to take a break from the stressful and real world. Wyatt was a big gamer, and whenever he finished his work and had nothing else to do, he would log into his personal computer and boot up all sorts of things. In the clip that you are about to watch, he decided to play Only Up, which is a well-known video game for making people very frustrated. Little did Wyatt know that the game would not be the thing that tipped him over the edge.
Something is watching me. If you've had the feeling, you know what I'm talking about. I'm playing Only Up in my office. Something keeps passing by this window. I've just propped up the phone here and I'm gonna play. If you're walking by my office, I want you to knock it off. Holy. Is that you making all that noise back there? This thing's always closing doors. You need to get out. Dude. Will you knock it off, please? You gotta get out. You're gonna lock yourself in the laundry room again? You're not leaving? You're not gonna...
Strangely, a shadow figure continuously glided past his window, and it was in a way that could be described as the opposite of human-like. Being the brave man he was, he decided to go and investigate in an attempt to find evidence that this was not a person, and what Wyatt witnessed next was terrifying. All sorts of items were launched across the room, and the shadow person was seen again closing itself inside of a room. Wyatt failed to provide any extra information after this clip, so all we can do is hope that he is now okay, but if he does end up posting any more clips, you will see them here, so subscribe to my channel. Jack loved being home alone because it meant that he could do literally anything that he wanted. His parents were both ridiculously strict with measures such as a set bedtime, screen time limits, and specific times in the day that he had to study, and he hated this lack of freedom with his own life, especially at the age of 17. One day, when his parents left the house for the weekend to go on holiday for their anniversary, Jack was sitting in his room, thinking of things that he could do whilst they were away from home. But before his mind had any time to conjure up some ideas, he supposedly saw an entity in the corner of his room. There was no proof or evidence to support this claim, so he came to the conclusion that he was going to try and lure the spirit into showing itself on camera, or at least giving hints that it existed. Did it work, or did it not? Well, you will have to watch the full clip to discover the answer for yourself. Before I show you the video though, did you know that you can have your paranormal clips included in a Haunter video? All you have to do is email your clips to hauntertofficial@gmail.com, followed by a short description of what happened and some backstory behind it. There is a 100% chance that your clip will be included in an upcoming video if you send it over, so give it a go. Anyway, here is what Jack experienced.
For the first time. I'm so thrilled and scared at the same time. My mind's going crazy. So I brought out the camera and I decided to see if I could catch anything. But first, people told me that I should write down questions on a paper. Friends who've had similar experiences. So that's exactly what I did. Who are you? And what do you want? So, it's exactly what I don't remember that being there. I don't remember that being there at all. Oh! 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 Oh. I'm going crazy. I'm going crazy. Okay, Spirit. That was really good. I'm gonna call you out. Do something more. Do something else. I'm calling you out. Whoa! Oh. Whoa. Oh. Spirit, let me come in. Oh. 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 Holy crap. You going to let me in this time? Are you? Oh! 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 Apparently the spirit doesn't want me to come in. Oh. Guess that's it then. Oh! Oh. Maybe he doesn't want me to come in. Oh, I'm freaking out right now, man. I'm freaking out, man. Oh! Hello? Are any spirits here right now? Are any spirits here? Can any spirits communicate with me right now? So, right over here is where I saw the entity. I just came into my bedroom and he was standing there. He was probably up to, like, right over there. It's really tall. So, Spirit, can you do anything for me right now? Oh! 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 Whoa! 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 Oh! Oh! I have the TV on in case you guys hear it. I'm home alone, guys. Remember that. I'm home alone. What is that? It's a doll! It's a doll! Oh, it's a doll. I'm terrified of dolls. I'm terrified of dolls. Terrified. The doll wasn't here before. Stare into your soul. Let's see if they wrote anything. Get out.
It is impossible to list off every single paranormal event that happened inside of this clip, but to call it a wave in paranormal activity would be an understatement. It was a tsunami. From moving objects to doors opening on their own accord, I don't think anybody on this planet would have left this situation unfazed, and Jack was certainly frightened. He left the house for the weekend and went to his grandma's, which he was scolded for by his parents. But after showing them the video, he did not blame them. He did not crave being home alone ever again. Ghost hunters are a common job mentioned on this channel, and they are some of the bravest people on our planet. These guys willingly enter locations that are known to be haunted and do all sorts of experiments and tests inside of the institutions. The set of clips that you are about to be exposed to come from a ghost hunter called Ryan, and his findings always end up being shocking. They were found in a house where the owners were certain was haunted by a little girl, and they paid Ryan thousands to come and resolve the issue for. Have a watch.
What do you want? What do you want? What do you want with me? Come on, answer! What do you want with me? Not gonna answer me. What do you want?
So, as you can see here, this is pretty much up against the wall. Nothing can really fit behind there. Windows are screened. There's no holes in the wall or anything like that. These are just standard stuffed animals. There's no puppets or anything like that. Just standard stuffed animals. And you can see there's no electronic interference, noise, or anything like that, because the poltergeist entity, whatever you want to call it, is not here at the moment in this room that I'm aware of.
Strangely, the two stuffed animals were moving as if there was a person behind them, controlling their movements, and it was evident that there was not another human there. Furthermore, Ryan explored both of the stuffed animals and discovered that none of them had any items or strings attached that could have interfered with them, which made absolutely no sense. This was his first sign of paranormal activity within 5 minutes of entering the household, but there are a lot more to come, like this for example.
That was opening before. Much better look. See, there's no room for anyone to be hiding or anything in here. There's no holes in any walls. One of the questions I get asked a lot about is why you don't see my family in any of the videos. And that's simply because I value my privacy. And I share what I want to share. I don't need to share footage of my family. So that's just, again, another look at the cabinet. There's no activity on it at the moment. See, there's nothing next to it.
This time, Ryan was in the kitchen, and when he came face to face with the pantry, it started to go crazy, and I mean crazy. The door was rattling really quickly, and an annoying squeaky sound was echoing around it, so Ryan knew that he had to take a closer look. Unsurprisingly, the result ended the same as last time, and there was absolutely nothing inside or outside of the pantry that could have naturally caused this to happen. This house was very haunted. If you want to see more clips from this specific ghost hunting exploration, then subscribe to my channel because Ryan will be making some more appearances across the next few videos. The following video was captured by a night guard at his local school, and he swore that his place of work was haunted. Every single day, he would come home from work and explain to his wife all sorts of instances that had happened. And whilst she listened and did not show any disbelief, she did not believe him one bit. She was actually in the process of contacting the doctors over the situation because she was worried that he was becoming somewhat of a psychopath, and this is when he had to truly prove that the stories that he was telling were not just a figment of his imagination. The next evening, he took his phone into the building with him and walked around the building whilst recording to see what he could capture, and fortunately, he managed to prove his wife wrong.
Bueno, miren, en esta área es donde supuestamente miran una niña o han visto una niña, tanto maestros como otros trabajadores de aquí del lugar. Dicen que miran una niña. Uy, güey. ¿Escucharon eso? ¿Escucharon? Entonces... Uy, güey. Vámonos. Vámonos.
Bangs could be heard around the building, and in a triumphant mood, he forwarded the footage to his missus, who instantly bought into it. She contacted the doctors and told them that they could cancel the appointment and that he had video evidence that the spirits were real, but to her dismay, they did not buy into the evidence as much as she did. This meant that the couple had to work together to gather more evidence. His wife lended him a higher quality camera and told him to film all night this time to see if he could manage to gather any other evidence that could sway the doctors in their favor. And so he set out to work that night with a mission in mind. Prove to the world that he was not a psycho. Did he succeed? Well, you will have to watch.
Estoy solo, no hay nadie, no hay ningún carro, nomás está la mía. Si vieron, alguien pasó allá. ¿Escucharon? Oigan, miren, no sé si alcancen a ver ahí en la ventana. Ahí, que se ve algo, ¿sí ven? Ven. ¿Se alcanzan a ver la sombra?
He managed to gather a complete compilation of videos for the doctors, and there was more than enough evidence to suggest that his stories were real. From shadow apparitions to objects moving on their own command, it truly was terrifying stuff, and they would be foolish not to believe him now. The sad reality to this story, though, is that the doctors were foolish and went ahead with their procedure checkups. They did not find anything in the brain which really aggravated them, but the man has to come into the hospital every fortnight until he admits that everything was a lie, which both you and I know is obviously not the case. We hope people believe him soon. The Elmwood House experience is something that anybody can attend, and it is located in Stockton on Tees in England. The place is called the Elmwood Community Centre, and it was constructed in 1893 as a grand family residence, but was later renovated into a spooky and paranormal experience for all. In its later years as a community center, the place became associated with ghostly phenomena, with several reports coming from the building, so the owners were forced to close it and relocate elsewhere. Paranormal lovers still visit the Elmwood house to this day, and that is exactly what the person who filmed the upcoming clip was up to.
Whoa, there's movement going on in here, mint. Somebody in this room. What's like footsteps on the carpet? It's like carpets are crinkling. I'm gonna stop and restart immediately.
Strangely, he heard noises as if somebody else was in the room with him, and it was more than evident that nobody else really was. The noises sounded too real to be fake or edited, and given the history of this place, it is only right to assume that this truly was caused by a spirit. In this video, we have already looked into the work life of a night shift guard, and it is very spooky to say the least. The job of a night guard is terrifying because you are all alone in the dark, but things get even creepier when you throw poltergeists into the mix, and this is what happened to James, the person who experienced what happened in the next few videos. What happened was so frightening that it caused James to quit his job entirely and go back to university to start his career fresh and go down a route that did not involve the possibility of ghosts making an appearance. What was this scary? Well, watch the clip for yourself and find out.
What the f***?
Hello? No.
He had a feeling that the place was haunted for a long time, but when the tap turned on without any force interacting with it, he knew for certain that his theory was true. Most people will brush this off as an issue with the water pipes, or something along those lines, but what they don't consider is that to turn the tap back off, James had to turn the handle to the side, meaning that something else must have turned it in the opposite direction. After this event, James ran to his vehicle and made his way home back to his family, which was a big relief given the danger of the situation that he was in beforehand. When everybody went to sleep, and he jumped into bed too, he opened his phone though, because he wanted to look over the footage from his night shift one last time, and he noticed another unsettling event. This one was frightening, and he knew he had heard something at the time, but just wanted to check over it in case he was going insane. Fortunately for him, he was not.
Hello? Stop f***ing about.
If you turned your volume all the way up towards the end of the clip, then you would have heard the faint reply of "hello." Since he worked on the night shift by himself, this could not have been the voice of any human being unless there was a break-in, and to be 100% sure that there was not one, he even contacted the camera crew to investigate through the cameras. It was no surprise that they found nothing, but that wasn't something the guard had to worry about, because he was long gone. What isn't long gone, though, is your opportunity to have your paranormal footage reviewed and documented by me. All you have to do is email hauntedofficial@gmail.com a description of what happened and some backstory alongside the attached footage, and it is a guarantee that you will be included. In the following video, Matthew was watching his favorite show on television, and he had waited months for this specific episode to release. It was the finale, and he wanted to watch it with no interruptions, no distractions, but unfortunately, a certain spirit didn't agree with his ideas. The time was 2 a.m. in the morning when he noticed something in his room moving by itself, so he took it upon himself to record, and this is what he was able to capture on his camera.
Bro, so I'm watching TV, and this Broly statue was facing towards me, and it fucking turned to the right, bro. Literally just shifted to the right. Unbelievable. I couldn't get my fucking phone out fast enough to get it on film, of course. And now that I'm filming, it's not gonna do it. Bro, like, here's my fucking hand, bro. And it literally just started Bro. That thing just rocked. Bro, here's my hand. My other hand is filming, bro. No way. Oh my god. Oh my god. Bro. Bro. What the fuck? Yo.
At first, he made it clear that he didn't expect anything to happen whilst he was recording, and that this was more of a just-in-case precaution. Little did he know that something would actually happen again, though. This time the figure collapsed and started shaking and moving almost as if a person was controlling it. It doesn't take a genius to know that there were no items or forces acting upon it, though, meaning it must have been a ghost. Instead of trying to stop it, though, Matt decided that he was going to entertain it for due course. He saw the views that the video received and couldn't see past recording this ghost consistently. It is because of this that he is still suffering from this to this day. Cody was a young child and loved being home alone. Whilst his parents were not constantly over his shoulder, he could do whatever he wanted, and he really relished the freedom, until one night he took it too far. His parents were staying in a hotel for the week because they were on holiday, and they piled a lot of trust on Cody in allowing him to look after himself for such a prolonged period. They warned him to stay away from the basement at night, but being a teenager, he ignored this advice, and these were the consequences.
Okay, let's see. Here I am in my basement. Been trying to catch some paranormal things all day. Nothing's really going on. So, could have swore I just saw that door move. Could swear on anything I saw it move. It's moving. Could you? Oh my god! What the crap? Gotcha. What? 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 What was that? Oh my god! What was that? What was that? Oh my god! I gotta get out. I gotta get out of here. Oh my god!
The basement was an absolute wormhole for spirits, and the paranormal levels in there were ridiculous. No child should be exposed to poltergeists of that nature, although I guess Cody did inflict it upon himself here. Too frightened to inform his parents of what he did, Cody decided to keep the incident quiet and tried to sleep under the duvet that night, but couldn't. He locked the door and never entered that basement again. "1 o'clock in the morning was the time, and Saturday was the date, a time when most Bayeux people would be fast asleep in bed. However, not the man who was able to capture the video that I am about to expose you to. He had a terrible habit of scrolling through social media whilst he was in bed, and it became so bad that he would have doom scroll sessions that lasted times of up to 6 hours, leaving his nights restless. One particular time though, a poltergeist decided to do a favor in helping him quit this addiction, and it definitely did a great job. Have a watch."
Okay guys, I just saw these metals. Look, do you see that? Oh my gosh. What in the world? Oh. What? There's the metals again. A door just opened by itself. My house is haunted. Seriously.
Strangely, objects inside of the room started moving on their own accord, and I don't just mean one object, I mean all sorts. The paranormal levels inside of this bedroom must have been off the scales, and the man reported a cold and spine-tingling feeling, which is typical in a situation where a poltergeist is present. After the incident, he came into contact with several ghost hunters, and one offered him a huge discount, so he decided to proceed with them. This whole event definitely deterred him from doom scrolling so easily at night. In a recent video on the channel, we had a look at a clip provided by a YouTube channel called Anonymous Serial, and no matter how much I researched into the background of the channel, there was absolutely nothing that I could find. The only information available was that it was filmed on an Android in the dark and showed all sorts of hauntings. Well, what if I told you there was another haunting uploaded on the YouTube channel? It took place in the exact same house as the last clip, and a lot of new things are showcased.
I just heard a noise. The hell? Are you serious?
Just like last time, the person behind the camera was walking around seeing the ghost cause havoc in front of their very eyes. But this time, we discovered they were a male. As well as this, due to the video being captured during hours of daylight, the layout of the house was much more visible than before, but again, I have no clue about anything other than that. That is why all we can really do is pray that whoever this man is, he is okay, and I am sure the hauntings will stop soon. Daniel was enjoying the leisure of having a day off from work, and it was literally the perfect life. His 2 sons were both in school for the day, whilst his wife was out working, meaning that the entire household was his to play with. He decided that instead of having a crazy day, he was just going to enjoy the rare emptiness and have the television all to himself. However, he knew that there was something that had the potential to ruin it all. Ever since the family moved into this house, a specific door nearby to the television always rattled in the most inconvenient of moments, and he just knew it would happen. Take a look.
This has been happening ever since we've moved in. Ever since we've been moved in, this has been happening. It's a brand new building. I don't get it. Happens that often, the handle is even loose. Really, really fed up with this. It's all the time at the moment.
Just as Daniel predicted, the door handle wouldn't stop rattling, and it really frustrated him because it acted as a barrier between him and his peaceful day. All he wanted was one day where nothing blocked him from his leisurely lifestyle, but that is not what he got. Him and his wife are now exploring options to eradicate the ghost in question, assuming it is a ghost, but we all know it is. Rebecca Winkleman was an innocent woman who never had anything to do with the paranormal world until this point. She had done absolutely nothing to deserve the horrifying experience of facing an entity, and it happened in the most unpredictable of moments. She was in the kitchen doing simple tasks such as washing and drying the points when she noticed that the door started opening and closing. The strange thing was that nobody else was in the house, but she was able to catch it on camera. As I mentioned previously, Rebecca knew that nobody else was in the household, making it impossible for anyone or anything to have made this happen, at least things from the regular world. Later that night, the husband of Rebecca arrived home and reviewed the footage, but he was certain that a ghost wouldn't have caused it, or was it that he didn't want to believe it? Regardless, they are in contact with many experts seeking answers, and if you have any input, then feel free to use the comment section in case they see this. On May the 11th of 2025, so in really recent times, an apparition was caught on security that was so frightening, they were all justified in staying off from work for 2 whole weeks. Usually, everyone on the security team would stay at their stations in twos, but when one of them spotted a potential threat, they needed their whole team to put an input on it. What they found was really surprising.
छाया मात्रै छ कि यस्तो मान्छे कहाँ हुन्छ किन बस्यो है स्लो गरेँ है मैले फेरि धेरै स्लो हुन्छ भनेर छोडिदिन्छु इन्डस्ट्रीमा त्यही गरेर गम्बुट लाछ है
मेरो गम्बुट रहेछ
कपाल जिङ्गे रहेछ ओ
कपाल उड्यो
यो मान्छे कपाल उड्यो छाया छाया जस्तो छ हैन गम्बुटबाट माथि क्लियर देखिँदैन नि के कपाल उड्दै गएको छ
फेरि यो गर्दा कपाल उडेको जस्तो हुन्छ क्या
अब त्यो क्लियर गर्दा अरू केटाहरू आउँछ सर्लकै देख्छ फेरि
एकछिन त्यसलाई नै हेरौँ न त कपाल उडेको देखिँदो रहेछ साँच्चै
The person that had potentially broken into the facility did not look human-like. It had a transparent figure, and the way it walked seemed way too smooth to be even closely comparable to that of a human being. The verdict from the majority of staff was that this was a ghostly apparition, especially considering that nobody came into the building that night, and there were no signs of security breaches. This situation was very mysterious nonetheless, and left all of the security officers in states of fear. No amount of training could have set them up for something such as that. Ian, known to his large YouTube following as the Midwest Ghost Hunter, has quite a self-explanatory job. He hunts ghosts. Unlike the vast majority of ghost hunters though, Ian does these explorations completely for entertainment and gets a strange buzz out of experiencing paranormal activity. He has been doing this role for years, visiting all sorts of haunted locations that are known as hellholes for paranormal activity. In the video that I am going to expose you to in due course, Ian was exploring an abandoned and heavily haunted asylum all by himself. No team, no friends, no nothing, just him and his trusty gear. This is a short clip that happened during the exploration.
Lulu, I know you're in here. Are you running around your room? Ooh. Whoa. Sorry. You just spooked me a little bit there. Are you making noise over here? Could you make another noise? Whoa. I'm trying to take a whole bunch of photos. I'm getting orbs. She is definitely in here. You have a very beautiful room, Lulu. Is that one of the cribs? The old cribs that you used when you were a mother? I'm very sorry about the horrible things that happened to you while you were here. Could you show yourself once again? I just got a bunch of orbs floating around that chair. It's as if she's sitting in it. Lulu, if that's you sitting in this chair. Oh my God. Holy crap. I just heard her out here. I just heard her voice echo through here. She is roaming this entire floor right now. But that was totally freaky. Alright, so I'm about to make my way out to the barn where Willis Cowden fell from that window. And boy, did it get nippy out here. Holy crap.
For those of you who have never watched a Haunter video before, you are likely wondering who or what Lulu is. Fortunately, you have me here to explain. Lulu was one of the many victims who suffered abuse inside of this asylum, and one of the few spirits who stuck around to haunt it for the rest of eternity. Ian was able to see this firsthand with Lulu, making it very evident that she was in the room, but surprisingly, she wasn't aggressive or really frightening in the slightest. Perhaps Ian reassuring her that he disagreed with the stuff that happened to her played a part in such a light scale of paranormal hauntings. Make sure to subscribe and like, because Ian's exploration of this asylum will run into future videos. NQ is a notorious ghost hunter on YouTube. but in recent times, a lot of his content has been ridiculed for being fake and obviously set up by his team. Most viewers hopped on the trend and called him a liar without even checking for themselves. But one subscriber had a different idea. He decided to visit the location that the staged allegations sparked from. When NQ was here, all sorts of things moved without any human interaction, but many viewers spot strings attached to them. This video sought out to prove NQ right. Have a watch. First of all, a mysterious noise was heard, and this forced the man investigating to up his guard. He looked around the CityLink basement for any signs of something that could potentially move, and was drawn to the box, and to his surprise, it started to move, proving NQ's video of the place to be a valid one. The subscriber got out of there as quickly as he possibly could, and then uploaded the clip to YouTube, in hopes that it'd get traction. He managed to show 6,000 views that NQ was not a faker. Kelsey and Jamie were sleeping on a regular Saturday night when they were awoken by something very unexpected. Some odd sounds were occurring downstairs, and it almost sounded as if somebody else was in the house, so one of them needed to go and investigate. Jamie was fast asleep and really sick, so Kelsey did not want to force him down the stairs. She bravely volunteered to investigate and brought her mobile device with her. This is what she was able to record on camera.
Okay guys, it's after 2 in the morning and I just got up. Jamie's still... What in the hell? Jamie's still asleep. Oh my god, oh my god. These cupboards, I'm so afraid of them opening. I'm just gonna shut the water off here. Oh my god. I just shut that off and that is rolling. Look at this thing. It's rocking back and forth. Oh my god. Leave me alone. Jamie?
It was more than clear that nobody had invaded the house, and the only thing that had really made its way in was a poltergeist. This house had never experienced paranormal activity before, and furthermore, Kelsey and Jamie had never witnessed anything like it. This was a first-time experience, and that explains why she was so shook by what she came across. She told Jamie, and they both decided to do nothing about it due to their complete lack of knowledge. They hid under the coverts for the rest of the night and struggled to sleep for a brief period in the future. The following video was captured by the same YouTube channel that the first clip of this video involved, NQ. NQ was notorious for posting haunting findings to his YouTube channel, and they were always in the most obscure places that you would not be able to predict would have been a place brewing spirits. However, this video differed from the rest. Somehow, one of the poltergeists he encountered in another location must have traced him back to his home and decided to permanently haunt NQ. This is what it did, but before I show you, did you know that you can have your ghostly findings broadcasted on my channel too? That's right. All you have to do is email hauntertvofficial@gmail.com and attach your clips alongside a description of what happened and why it happened. If you do those 3 steps correctly, your clip will be in an upcoming video for certain. Anyways, here is the clip that NQ captured within his own home.
So you can go in here? You see there's no strings or anything? Nothing back there? Nothing from the top, all the way down the sides.
Strangely, the television started to shake aggressively, and learning from his past mistakes that led to him being called a liar, NQ got as close as he could and made sure to show everybody that there were no strings attached. Now, NQ was an expert when it came to things like this, so unlike others who would contact a ghost hunter in this situation, he just banished the spirit on his own and succeeded. Being home alone can only go one of two ways, and these ways contrast massively. It either becomes one of the most chill times of your life, or one of the most unnerving and terrifying moments occurs, and it was the latter for the man who recorded the series of videos that I am going to expose your poor eyes to shortly. His name was Pete, and one night when he was all by himself, some odd stuff started to happen, which led to him taking out his camera. It was a good thing that he did, because what he captured was extraordinary.
So I'm hearing the shit again, and I'm alone. Jesus Christ. And I'm alone too. Jesus fucking. Oh my God. Oh my God. There was something behind that. There was something behind that. Nope. Nope. Nope.
No matter where Pete went in this household, the spirit followed, and he captured everything that a victim possibly could. What this series of events was called is a paranormal surge, and it refers to when 5 or more ghostly events happen within a 5-minute time span of each other. People are heavily advised to leave their house if one of these things happens to them, and Pete was clearly on the smarter side for doing this. For the following few days, he refused to go back to his home and took residence in his mother's house, promising to purchase his own food and things that he planned on using whilst he was there. However, he was only given a 2-day stay and was forced back to his place that he believed to be ridiculed with evil spirits. Throughout the next week or so, he could have sworn he continuously saw a shadow figure gliding between doors and exploring the property, but without any proof, he was too frightened to raise this concern to social media. One day, though, he hit the jackpot.
Oh, please tell me I got that on video. Please tell me I got that on video. That's why I put my phone up there. Nobody's in here. Oh, that scared me. Nobody's in here. Nobody's behind the door. Nobody's underneath the bed. Nobody's under the bed. Nobody's in the closet. Nobody's going out the room. In the closet. This is where I keep my laundry baskets. Nobody's here. And then the lights are going on and off. This is great. Bathroom, no. Utility closet, nothing. Living room, kitchen, nothing. And the lights are still doing that. And the remote, I don't know. I lost the remote. That's the remote.
Somehow, Pete managed to get the phenomenon on video and made sure to venture the entire building to make sure that the audience knew there was no way this shadow was a real person. I cannot fathom how terrified Pete must have been in this situation. Coming face to face with a spirit, even if it is just a shadow, is not for the weak. And luckily, Pete did not come under the weak category. He debated asking his father to stay at his house for the weekend because he had split up with his mother, meaning there was no way for him to know he stayed at her house a week prior, but went against the idea. It was cruel, forcing himself upon his parents' care. He came to the decision to stay in the house and give it one more chance, but of course that chance failed within a day.
There's somebody knocking at the door. I'm here alone. Nope. My girlfriend's not supposed to be here yet. Nope. Go away. She's not supposed to be here yet. I didn't hear her car. Her keys are not here.
This was the weirdest incident of the three because the ghost somehow mimicked the voice of somebody that was actually scheduled to be at the house in due course. It continuously knocked in an attempt to be let into the room, and this is what created the most silly decision that Pete made during these clips. He let it inside. The rest of his night was horrible, and the room became extremely active. This is when he came to the right conclusion that the house needed to be sold, and it is currently on the market at a rather cheap price. Roughly 6 months before the upcoming video was recorded, Lucy had a very haunted house. Her bedroom door would knock uncontrollably, her objects would displace themselves overnight, and she would often hear voices echoing around her kitchen. All of these things combined made it obvious that the place had a ghost occupying it, and she hired a ghost hunter to resolve the issue. Soon enough, one came to the house, and after he left, everything was supposed to be fine, and it was. For the next 6 months, absolutely nothing out of the ordinary happened, and Lucy was finally able to have some peace and comfort inside of her own home. This did not last forever, though. Unfortunately, on the 6-month anniversary of getting rid of the spirit, this happened. Her door knocked aggressively, and this was exactly what the old spirit used to do to her when it got late. She started having flashbacks to all of the previous times she had to go through this, and had no idea what the next steps should be, considering the ghost hunter did not do much in the long term. Comment down below if you have any suggestions for her, and you might as well subscribe too. The Midwest ghost hunter goes on all sorts of crazy adventures, and the one that I am about to show you is one of his most daring yet. he decided to visit an abandoned and haunted asylum that was absolutely ridiculed with spirits. And over my last few videos, I have been showcasing the horrors that he has managed to capture on camera. From flying fruits to unexplained noises, this place has had it all so far, but at the same time hasn't even offered half of what it has in store. The Midwest ghost hunter was walking up the stairs when this clip began to see if it was worse up there, and this is what happened.
Hello? Is there anybody up here? This whole place is unbelievably creepy. I can only imagine what it's gonna be like walking through the actual asylum wing. Is there anyone up here? The hell was that? Whoa! Holy shit! Dude, that was a loud freaking bang. Is there somebody down there? Whoa! Whoa! That door just opened! I literally just saw that. Oh my god. Dude, I cannot believe that. Already a door freaking opened. Oh god, and now it's shut. When did that happen? Oh god, do I dare freaking look? Look at that. It's slightly moving. There is no one. There is nobody. So then, how the hell did this door open? And look at that. It naturally shuts on its own. So whatever opened this had to have some good amount of force.
The unexplained noises came back again, and for those of you who do not know, this YouTuber does all of his explorations alone, so nobody else should have been in the vicinity. He identified the noise to have come from downstairs, so asked if there was anybody down there, and this is where the real fright happened. The door somehow opened itself and triggered a state of panic for the man who did not expect something so scary to happen so early into the challenge. Regardless of his expectations, it happened though, and there is far more to come for him. Subscribe so you do not miss future videos where this ghost hunter will 100% be featured. Speaking about features you can feature in future Haunter videos by simply emailing me at hauntertvofficial@gmail.com and sending over the clips that you want to have a feature. Include the clips alongside a description of why and what happened so that I know the story and I will include you in an upcoming video for sure. Why would you want to miss out on such a fun opportunity? In the following video, Martin Dickey and his wife Jenny were both operating inside of their kitchen when something happened that took them both off guard. In the corner of his eye, Martin noticed that the cap for the jug of milk was moving on its own accord, but it was so surreal that he couldn't believe his own eyes. He took out his camera and began to film the incident when this happened.
Right, there's nothing touching this milk bottle at all. Oh my god. Oh my god. This empty milk bottle lid is moving on its own. That is up. Do it again. Come on. Come on. Yes! Yes! There it is!
What is it?
I don't know! I have no idea what that is. That is absolutely crazy. There's nothing on or around this bottle. Are you doing it, Fizz?
How can I even do this?
Just do it again. That is freaky stuff. Any more? Any more?
What do you think it is? Is it a ghost?
I can't work it out.
There's some air traps, isn't there? Then there's probably some sort of duct that's pulling it up here.
Is that on though? The duct isn't
I don't
on.
know, I just can't imagine what else it would be.
It's kind of stopped now. We've got it though.
The cap continued to do its thing, moving as if it was being manhandled. Both of them tried their hardest to forge a logical solution, and Jenny came up with the idea that it was to do with the air above, although they both knew that this wouldn't have made this happen. Other than that, there are no real reasons other than the presence of a paranormal entity that I can get behind. The man in this next clip is called Jack, and he has featured in a large number of videos on my channel. This is because he has uploaded many haunted findings to his social media page on TikTok, and they are too good to not include. Jack experiences things of paranormal nature a lot because he collects antique items, and there is a direct correlation between these items and poltergeist activity. At first, things were okay for him, but as time went on, he slowly began to realize that something must have entered his house because odd stuff started happening, and the video that I am about to expose you to is when he managed to catch it all on camera.
Okay, I've just started filming because I fell asleep on the couch and woke up to what felt like somebody stroking the side of my face, which made me jump awake, but I don't know if it was a dream, but then the room is icy cold and the noises coming from the kitchen. Hello? Hello? Can you hear that? It's coming from outside, well, the kitchen there. Hello? Oh my god. The candlestick and the door's just bloody opened. What the hell? Hello? Oh my god. It makes you nervous to fall asleep on the couch, it really does. It's horrible. Is anybody out there? Shit! What the fuck? That's just hit my leg? What the fuck? Oh. Sophie, okay? The cat's just legged it as well. Oh my god. What is going on in here? What? It sounds like somebody sat down on the fucking chair. Fuck this. Fuck off. I'm going in the garden. I'm not staying in here.
All sorts of things happened here, and I will give it to you non-believers. In isolation, these events could definitely have a natural cause, but when paired together, it would be too coincidental for them all to happen within a 3-minute time span. Furthermore, the fact that the room went cold also signals that there was a haunting presence there, and this is something that Jack is going to work on banishing from his home, so we wish him luck. Not many people can stay calm in the midst of ghostly activity, so we really have to give credit to the girl who filmed this video. Somehow she was able to stay really composed and give a clear narrative, despite how frightening the situation must have been, and I can admire that. The time was 3 p.m., and Chloe was with her sister in the kitchen when they noticed the spice rack spinning around without any visible force interacting with it. She started recording in hopes that it would continue, and sure enough, it did.
I think he's after some spices now. He's in the fucking kitchen. I think he's just having a look. Oh no! Oh! Oh, I think he's having a read of him. Hello? Hello? I think he's dropped a few spices. You might want to clean them up.
Not only did the spice rack keep on spinning, but the dustpan also decided it was going to have a mind of its own. It started to swing from left to right, and I am surprised Chloe stayed calm in this situation. She showed the clip to her parents when they rose from bed the next day, and they sent it to a local ghost hunter. They now have a date booked, and it is looking like the house will be cleansed. On a late night in France, a ghost hunter by the name of Duncan decided that he was going to explore a haunted house for his TikTok page. He loved exploring places of this sort and wasn't even in the industry for the money. We know this because he did these kinds of things way before starting social media, which showcases his real passion for the hobby of capturing ghosts on camera. Anyways, sticking to this expedition specifically, a family had passed away inside of the house 4 years prior, and Duncan had been hired by a new family to check for ghosts before they purchased it. This is one of his findings.
Oh, les 2K2. Regardez les amis. Les 2K2. Il marche lui? Non. Nom de Dieu. Oh, c'est un truc de fou. C'est quoi le délire? Est-ce que Serge, tu pourrais faire... allumer la lumière bleue s'il te plaît? Peux-tu te rapprocher de la lumière bleue? Est-ce que tu peux faire un mouvement s'il te plaît? Merci beaucoup Serge. Wow, wow, wow. C'est quoi D'accord Serge. Il y aurait quelqu'un ici? Est-ce que Serge, tu sais sortir la poupée? D'accord. Dis-moi Serge, est-ce que tu penses que j'ai ramené Gabi quelque part?
Out of nowhere, the high vision jacket dropped from the wooden door and it started to shake, as if a real person had nudged or kicked it. This acted as a jump scare to Duncan, who was not expecting the poltergeist to show itself to him so soon, but after the initial scare, he was not frightened at all and continued his journey, later coming across this.
D'accord. Les amis, il y a un vrai souci. Incroyable. Qu'est-ce qui se passe, Serge? Est-ce que tu peux me ramener le ventilateur, Serge? Une dernière fois? Comme tu veux. Oh, c'est quoi ce bordel? C'est quoi ça? Wow! C'est quoi ce délire? Putain. C'est quoi le délire? Ok Serge, je crois que je vais te laisser tranquille en fait. Je vais pas t'embêter. J'aimerais juste te présenter quelqu'un. Oh là, les amis, le K2 il est amorphe. Il est amorphe le K2. Wow! Oh, calme-toi! Oh non, non, Serge, non, non! Oh non! Non, Serge! Pas les appareils! Il y a du gaz à ces bombes, Serge!
Unlike the high vision jacket that fell from the door off camera, these items moved right in front of it, which confirmed to the audience that this was in fact real. Duncan added these videos to his evidence file for the family who were paying him a big fee for his work before leaving the home safely. Staying in a hotel is meant to be a good all-round experience, considering the fact that you have to pay your money in order to stay in one. Most of the time, this is the case, but sometimes hotels fail to provide this nice feeling, with the one in the next video coming under that category. However, it was not their fault. Dennis was staying in the hotel before a concert he was attending the next day when all of a sudden something odd caught his eye, which warranted him to take out his phone and start recording. This is what he managed to capture.
Okay, Lisa. Do you want to talk? Open the drawer if you want to communicate with me. Come on, Lisa. Lisa, do you want me to go away? Lisa, come on. Come on, Lisa. All right, what do you want to do? Lisa, come on. We can play this parlor game all day long, I suppose. Here, okay. Open the drawer. Lisa, you want to talk? Lisa, do you want to talk? Do you want me to go away?
We are grateful and proud of our purpose.
Come on, Lisa.
Now more than ever, home has meaning. Home is everything.
Come on, Lisa, talk to me. Show me. Okay, atta girl. Anything else I can help you with? Okay.
The drawer continued to open and close, and you are probably wondering how he knew the spirit's name was Lisa. Well, the history of the hotel dates back to the mid-1800s, when a woman called Lita was miserably killed by the people in the room next to hers. It is a story that the hotel is haunted by her, but most people believe it is a fake marketing scheme for the hotel to gain more customers, not Dennis. The following video took place inside of a wax museum, and if you do not know what one of those are, for some reason, I am here to explain. A wax museum is a place where historical figures are remade as identical statues, but instead of being forged in a traditional way, they are made from wax. The wax statue that you are about to see is one of nobody particularly significant, and resembles an elderly woman who was executed for supposedly being a witch. Whether she was a witch or not is unknown, but it is safe to say that the clip you are about to watch leads us to believe she was one.
¡Ay, hijo de güey, qué pedo! ¿Qué onda, amigo? No, amigo, no manejo nada de mecatrónica. Es una figura totalmente en cera. Mira, es una pieza total, rígida, no se puede manipular. Te digo, no tiene nada. Te digo, mira, te muestro. No hay cables, no hay nada, no es un robot. Es una figura totalmente en cera.
Strangely, the head of the statue turned whilst he was looking at it, and it was not supposed to do this. As I stated before, the statue was made out of no material other than wax, and it doesn't take a genius to know that wax cannot move. This must have been the act of a ghost, perhaps the witch's ghost of which the statue was supposed to resemble. Olivia Conkle and her boyfriend were pulling into the driveway one evening after a party when they noticed something terrifying behind their window. It is important to note that nobody they knew owned a key to the house, and furthermore, no one was supposed to be in there whilst they were gone. These things put together made it very difficult for the duo to believe this was anything other than a threat, and they were lucky enough to take out their camera in time. Have a watch. Some sort of mysterious figure could be seen behind the window, and this would be very threatening to anybody arriving home. Due to the bravery of Olivia's boyfriend, though, they came to the conclusion of not calling the police, and he walked inside, only to find nothing. A few days passed by in the house where nothing of a paranormal nature happened to either of them, but of course this did not last. It was only a matter of time before another clip was captured. Olivia was home alone when she heard scratching outside of her bedroom door, and she started to film so that she could show both social media and her boyfriend what was happening. Little did she know that something even worse would occur in front of the camera. Somehow, something pulled the cloak from the door, and it was obvious based on the movement that this was unhuman-like. On top of this, Olivia went to investigate the other rooms behind the door, and to her dismay, found nothing. This is when she started to believe that what they were experiencing was a haunting. There was still one more event that took place before they decided to take action, though.
Wait! There's legit no one in here, dude. No one is in here.
All around the house, strange things were happening, and it was very evident that the cause was not a human. Spirits ridiculed this house, and Olivia has recently gone to the local church seeking assistance. We wish them luck in the future. On a night of which Sophie was already going through something severe, a ghost decided to enhance it, and when you know the backstory, this is quite sad. Roughly 1 week prior to this incident, the grandmother of Sophie, Sylvia, passed away in a tragic car accident that ended the lives of 2 people. Sophie was extremely close to her grandmother, and she was way too healthy and careful to have passed away at such a young age. Regardless, it happened though, and people just had to deal with it. Little did any of them know that she would come and pay her granddaughter a visit, though.
I keep closing this drawer, and it keeps opening by itself. Did you just see that? There we go. There was an orb, and now there's this. Look. Look. Me. I'm gonna try it again.
This was suspected to be an incident caused by her grandmother, and it would make a lot of sense if this was the case. Once Sophie realized that this was likely the case, she broke down into tears and lay on her bed for hours thinking about her. I think it is safe to say that more harm than good was caused from this visit. Toby went to sleep early one night, and he paid the consequences, because sleeping early usually results in waking up early. At 1 o'clock in the morning this happened, and he rolled out of bed wondering what time it was. When he realized, he knew he needed to get back into bed. However, despite being aware that he needed more rest, he was not tired, and rather fancied something to eat, so went downstairs to start cooking. Little did he know that something abnormal would happen. Strangely, the lid for the pan started sliding across the tabletop on its own accord, and it was obvious that no visible force was acting upon it. Even in the case of an invisible string, it would not be possible because Toby was on the camera, and it was evident that he was not tugging anything. This was a very creepy evening for Toby, and one of which I severely doubt he will forget. The following video was captured by Dylan, and it was filmed during a job that he was not fond of in the slightest. His role was to clean his local restaurant, and he had 3 routine checkups. In the morning, he had to clean it. Throughout the day, he needed to maintain it, and in the evening, he had to clean it. Very demanding with very little pay. The video of which I am about to expose you to took place at 9 p.m. on an evening shift, and Dylan had been working for 2 hours to clean the place. There had been a children's birthday party, hence the balloons, and we all know the severity of mess that these parties can generate. This was the least of Dylan's concerns, though. Have a watch.
Creo que mucho el huevo. 3:20 de la mañana. Bien, y siento como que están moviendo las weas, como que las corren. Corrieron los pocillos de la sopa. Acá atrás se escucha como que le pegaran a weas, como que las movieran. Como que las movieran. Weón, está entero rígido acá. Ayer había grabado lo mismo, pero hoy día es como que... Weón.
Everything that you could have possibly thought of when you hear the word paranormal happened, and this was an extremely severe paranormal surge. For Dylan in specific, this was highly overwhelming, as he had never been face to face with something of this sort before, and it stayed with him for the rest of his life, with even the most subtle of mysterious incidents causing flashbacks. James lived by himself, and it is safe to say that there are many pros as well as many cons to this lifestyle. The pros include things such as peace, freedom, and the power to actually do what you want with the house. But in my personal opinion, the cons far outweigh them. From having to maintain the place on your own to being lonely at times when you need somebody with you, it mustn't be nice whatsoever. But none of these cons were the crucial ones to James. A paranormal entity was. The clip that I am about to expose you to shortly was taken because the tap started to turn itself on and off, and James wanted to document the phenomenon. Little did he know he was about to film something far more bizarre.
What the f***?
Whilst the actual clip played, I severely doubt you actually realized what had happened, but fortunately, James included it again at the end. some sort of shadow figure peeked around the doorframe, and you'd be crazy to not be filled with fright after coming face to face with such a sight. A few commenters claimed that if you mess with the settings on the image to such as saturation, an eye and a nose appear, but I will let you guys test that for yourselves before coming back. After the incident, James came to the conclusion that the only thing he would do was upload it to social media, because he didn't want to anger the spirit by inviting a ghost hunter or a priest around to investigate. However, he was left questioning his decision the next night because the ghost did not seem to be the happiest of beings nonetheless. This time, instead of making the tap turn itself on and then off, the spirit decided it was going to have fun with the cabinet and continuously swung it open and closed. Just like last time, James took out his camera and started documenting the incident in hopes that the poltergeist would not stop its act, and he was lucky that it didn't. He was now presented with a few choices. James had enough evidence to do something about the spirit, but there was the possibility that the person he hired to banish it failed, and he was left with an even more annoyed ghost. Reluctantly, the conclusion was that he should wait for one more thing to happen, and once it did, he would contact a ghost hunter who drove a decent bargain, provide 3 pieces of evidence, and get 50% off. After a few days, the third piece of evidence arrived.
Yo, what up? Ghost Golden Guns over here. And I'm going live right now because that's why. Hello? Hello? Is anyone there? What the fuck? What the fuck? Who is out? Oh my god. Oh my goodness, what the fuck? Hello? Who is there? Oh my goodness, please stop. What the fuck? Please stop. Please stop. This is my house. Leave. Leave. This is my house. You're not allowed here. Leave. Oh my goodness. Hello. Oh my goodness.
Once again, everything the spirit did was inside of the kitchen, and it was starting to become increasingly obvious that this was the only place that the poltergeist could truly haunt. One interesting thing to pick up on, though, is the fact that this time around, it only caused mayhem when it was spoken to, rather than being unhinged. Perhaps this was some progress. The ghost was banished 1 week later, though, nonetheless, and James has not experienced anything similar to the sort since. Ghost hunting can be one of two things, a professional and paid job or a hobby. I can sort of understand those who do the task professionally, because it is a very high-paying role for what it is, and the sheer amount of money is probably worth a small fright. However, I cannot bring myself to get behind those who do this simply for fun, because why would you put yourself in paranormal situations for the sole reason of entertainment? It just doesn't sit right with me. The duo in the video that we are about to watch next were visiting a haunted woodland for leisure, and what they found was extraordinarily rare. With that said, have a close look at what they were able to witness.
I'm excited. I just saw something. I've never seen anything like it in my entire life.
Some might call this the most compelling paranormal evidence ever captured on film.
This is Sam and Mike with Viper Paranormal. We're here on the Crucy property. It's January 29th, about 10:45 p.m. My name is Mike. This is my friend Sam. We don't mean any disrespect. We're only here to learn and communicate. This may be your last opportunity to communicate with anyone.
Remember you asked that last question? The camera just died.
Really? Was it charged?
Yeah, it was fully charged. I mean, I K2, check the K2.
I haven't seen anything, bro.
Dude, something moved over there, I swear.
Whoa! What's that?
Unlike most ghost sightings where people are only able to see a few objects moving, these guys were able to capture a spirit in the flesh. The transparent figure glided across the camera to the left of the screen, and they were both quick to give chase. From this point forwards, nothing else happened, which made the situation very questionable, but what they saw was more than enough for the day. It isn't often that sightings this prominent are found. On February the 23rd of 2025, a security camera caught something gobsmacking. The sighting was similar to that of the last video, except nobody saw it in the flesh, so the spirit must have thought it went under the radar. It happened at 11 o'clock at night, and nobody in the household was awake. This would not last, though, because the father and mother of the house were woken up by their dog barking, and curious at what was happening, they checked their cameras to see this. Strangely, a transparent figure could be seen outside of the house, and somehow the dog was able to detect it. This is because animals can supposedly see light patterns that we cannot, but I believed that this was a rumor rather than a matter of fact. In the following video, a young teenager by the name of Miguel was staying at his auntie's house with his parents and cousin due to her passing away recently. They were sent to help empty and clear the house, which was a controversial decision in itself because they were very close with her. As a reward for coming down to help out, Miguel's cousin had been given a brand new cell phone that had been passed down from his auntie. Him and Miguel decided to test out the camera quality on this device by walking around, and it was here that they came across something terrifying.
Oh.
A ver, yo creo que acá uno juega muchas cosas cuando compite, pero algo que uno nunca puede poner en la palestra a la hora de competir es la salud de uno, que es la que en un futuro jugarse la vida. Yo creo que hay que saber cuándo parar y la verdad doy gracias a Juanito. ¡Chucha!
Out of seemingly nowhere, the cupboard door flew open and it had a lot of significance to their auntie. It was her most used cupboard, and she stored things such as her slippers, toiletries, and more importantly, her memory box inside of it. With this information in hand, experts have deciphered that this spirit was the spirit of their auntie, reminding them that she was still present, despite that presence being spiritual. I doubt the house will sell for much with this information though, which is unfortunate. Hassan was in his bathroom doing a task as simple as brushing his teeth when he noticed that something was off about the place. He explained that a cold and disturbing feeling surrounded the air out of nowhere, and that it was almost as if something else had entered the bathroom with him. This triggered Hassan's natural instincts, and he knew that something was going to happen, so dropped his toothbrush and pulled out his phone, opening the camera app. Did anything actually happen? Well, you'll have to take a look and see.
Se escuchó un ruido aquí en esta parte de la cocina, pero... ¡Ah, caray! ¿Qué fue eso? No manches. ¿Se movió el vaso? ¿O es mi imaginación? Ay. Pensé que era mi imaginación. Ah, caray. Qué raro. Yo creo que mejor me voy. Lentes. ¿Qué es eso?
Strangely, the item below the sink started moving without any human interaction, and furthermore, it was beyond evident that there were no strings or anything of that sort attached. After the incident, Asan stopped the recording and wondered what he should actually do about it. He came to the conclusion that putting the item in the trash would be the best way forward, and so he did it, never seeing the item again. And fortunately, his wishes followed. From this point forwards, Asan's life was spirit-free. Paranormal activity becomes ever more upsetting when you realize that the majority of the time, the victims are completely and utterly undeserving of the torment. What makes it even worse is when the innocent victim is a child, because they are way too young to be exposed and frightened to such an extent. The following video was filmed by an 11-year-old girl who noticed things moving downstairs. She decided to use her new phone to record what was happening and was frighteningly shouting at her mother to come and aid her due to being overwhelmed with fear. Clearly, the camera aggravated the spirit more though, because this happened.
Mamá, venga, se está moviendo la silla. Mamá. Mamá, venga. Mamá. Mamá. Mamá.
First of all, the chair started rocking, but that was happening beforehand, meaning that it didn't have any correlation to the fact the girl was recording the incident. After recording though, the little car moved on its own accord, followed by a few other things which would have terrified me, let alone a child of such a young age. The video that I am about to expose you to is one of, if not the most mysterious clips on my entire channel. This is because no matter how deep I have attempted to dig, I have found absolutely no background information on it. All we know is that it was presumably captured by a YouTuber called Anonymous Serial because they uploaded it, and that it was posted on August the 19th of 2012. The description also reads, "This video was recorded from an Android phone, making it ever more vague and spooky." Have a look. After analyzing this video, seeking more details, it becomes evident that it was captured within a home, and the person filming is quite young as far as I can tell. Furthermore, the ghost was rather relaxed compared to other ones that we have seen, because all it was doing was opening and closing the fridge, which is nothing too severe whatsoever. I do still hope that whoever recorded this video, from wherever place is okay though, and that they approached this situation and handled it in the correct manner. Luis was not the type to go around exploring haunted facilities for fun, but roughly 1 month after his mother passed away, he decided that he was going to give it a shot. She was buried inside of an old graveyard that was said to be riddled with paranormal activity, and she decided that she wanted her deathbed to be there. This is because she used the logic that if it was a really paranormal place, then the chances were she would become a ghost too, and her family supported her decision despite not being in complete agreement. Anyway, fast forward back to Luis. He came to the decision that he was going to visit the graveyard and see if anything mother-related happened. He went in blind with equipment, and this is what happened.
Mande dijo. Dijo mande. Dijo mande. ¿Hombre o mujer? O se escuchó un hombre. Pero también se escuchó una mujer. Soy Ruth, dijo. Dijo así, no soy Ruth. Oye, Ruth otra vez. Sí, a Ruth dijo. Mames, vete a la... Dijo mi nombre. Luis dijo. Para los que no saben, yo me llamo Luis. A la madre. Dijo mi nombre, plebes. Y no se lo pregunté. No mames. No. ¿Te llamas?
The spirit that was haunting him shortly before this particular clip somehow identified his name, and this led him to believe that it was the ghost of his mother. Furthermore, there was no cold energy around him, which was usually not the case when a poltergeist is present, meaning it must have been a friendly one at the bare minimum. Luis was scared of this presence, but knowing it may have been his mother, persisted through it, and was able to get us another piece of footage to watch.
Sí. ¿Quieres ayuda? Ruth. Sí. ¿Dónde estás? Dime dónde estás exactamente. ¿Dónde estás? ¿Dónde estás? Espera, se me está cayendo esta cosa que tengo. No sé cómo agarrar todo. Perdón, amigos, me está temblando mucho la mano. La busco entre tumbas, ahí no quiero grabar esta tumba. ¿Dónde estás? Vete a la bestia. ¿Qué fue eso? ¿Hola? ¿Dónde estás?
This time he heard a sound from across the graveyard, and from the sounds of it, it very obviously was not a naturally occurring noise. It was as if something had fallen over. And listen up, because this is where things get interesting. The sound came from nearby to Luis' mother's grave, meaning that it may have been her causing this. He believes that to this day. The time was just 14 past midnight, and Antonio was home alone. His children were staying over at their grandmother's because the house was being renovated, and these renovations were happening above their bedroom, which would have made it impossible for them to sleep. Antonio and his wife were having a long, restless night, so at around 11:45, they decided to give up on sleeping and got back out of bed. It was on his way to the sitting room that Antonio came across something very peculiar, though. Have a watch.
Claudia,
The item moved on its own accord, and it was beyond obvious that there was nothing that could have been interacting with it. Upon several zoom-ins, I was unable to expose any invisible wire or any kind of force acting on the item. After the incident, Antonio took the item out to the trash and told his children that it had broken, promising to purchase them a new one the next time that he got paid. This turned out to be the correct move, because him and his family never noticed anything of the sort again. On December the 5th of 2024, Max and his wife heard some peculiar sounds coming from the guest bedroom. An important note to make before I proceed is that the couple had not had a child together, and they were the only two people living inside of the house, making it impossible for this to have been natural. The time was 1:45, and they had both been watching television in the sitting room when this happened.
Hey. Yeah. Did you hear baby crying? No, I opened the door. Oh, I thought that's why you opened the door. I heard it crying a long time in here.
Out of nowhere, the sound of a baby crying echoed around the entire house, and as I previously mentioned, they did not have any children living inside of the household. Max went inside of the room to investigate the scene, and the camera picked up something shocking following behind, a ghostly orb. This confirmed that the crying had been caused by some sort of spirit, and the family are currently in the process of eradicating it before it becomes too powerful, and it comes to the point where they take action too late. We wish them luck in this, and a priest would likely be the most cost-efficient approach.